Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called The Financial Walking Dead. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link of today's show on all your social media so that we can help spread the word. Now, let's get started. As you may have seen recently, both the stock market and the crypto market went down dramatically and quickly. Some people stood their ground and held on to their investments. Other people got scared and sold off as quickly as they could. But do you know what was really interesting? It was watching all those investors coming to realize how quickly the curtain of fake and manipulated high prices could be pulled back. When people saw behind the investment curtain as the prices were collapsing, they finally realized how there was nothing there to prop up any of the investments. There were no fundamentals to hold the stock prices up. There was no real demand for the products or services supposedly being made or offered by these companies or their stocks. It also became very clear that the management of many of these companies whose stock prices are or were collapsing are now members of the financial walking dead. Why is that? Because it's clear they have no solutions, no answers, and no way of helping their own companies. They're spending all their time and energy simply trying to delay the inevitable. They know they tried every trick in the book taught them by the Ivy League schools they attended, and nothing is working anymore. All those sleazy tricks they were taught in college years ago, things that used to work when the fraud was a fraction of what it was now, those tactics just aren't effective anymore now that the market has reached peak fraud. And that's where it is now. The level of fraud in the market and in the economy is now approaching 100%, and this means that none of the standard tactics or tricks or deceptions are gaining any traction anymore. They're just not working. People and consumers see through all the nonsense now, and they're no longer buying what they're selling. The reason that so many CEOs got their jobs in the first place was not because of their brilliant accounting or management abilities. It was because of their ability to deploy hyper-aggressive accounting tactics, which is really just a synonym for fraudulent accounting and business practices that could help their companies survive the terrible storms when they came and went. But now that the curtain has been pulled back and the consumers and the public can see that there's nothing meaningful behind the management curtain, now these people are all just the financial walking dead. They're worse than zombies. At least zombies have a purpose. They walk around and try to kill and eat living consumers, take their money as fast as they can without returning or reciprocating any value. But the financial walking dead no longer have a purpose or a reason for existing. Their customers don't believe them anymore, and they don't patronize their businesses anymore. They're simply trying to stay around long enough to collect their next bonus before they get fired. But the concept of the financial walking dead isn't just limited to senior business executives. It can also represent entire companies or industries that are now just the walking dead. So why are these companies the walking dead? That's because consumers are no longer interested in their products or services the way they were 3 or 4 years ago. These companies and industries are still limping along trying to find their way in the new economy, but many of them are already terminal or dying. They may know they're dead, but they can't admit it publicly because these executives are still trying to suck some money out of the company before they lose their jobs. So, who are some of these walking dead, you may ask? Well, have you walked past a movie theater lately? Most of them are empty most of the time. I'm now seeing enormous movie theater complexes with 20 or more screens being run by just 2 employees in them. They'll have one person checking tickets and one person behind the counter selling popcorn. They'll be playing one superhero movie in one theater, and then in the other 19 theaters, it will be mostly empty most of the time. In our opinion, that qualifies them as a member of the financial walking dead. Have you walked past any restaurants lately? Some estimates claim that 50% or more of the restaurants are either closed or operating in a state of undeclared bankruptcy. Restaurants aren't just operating under tremendous financial stress now. Now that some of them have dramatically increased their prices on their menus because of inflation, what few customers they had are now refusing to come back. Have you eaten at a restaurant lately? If you have, then you probably noticed the dramatic decrease in the meal sizes, and they've also cut the size of the plates in half, so that you don't really notice how much smaller, how much less the amount of food they put on those plates is. It's an optical illusion. Reduce the size of the plate, and maybe they won't notice that the meat portions are a third of what they used to be. We predict at least another 25% of the remaining restaurants will disappear very soon. Do you know what another walking dead industry is now? Tourism. People are scared to death of going places on vacation. Have you seen what happens to the cruise ship industry? Some cruise lines are in such financial trouble that they can't even visit or go to the same ports they used to travel to because their captains and their crews have outstanding arrest warrants out for failure to pay prior fuel bills for the ship. One cruise line recently had to avoid docking at their usual port because there was an arrest warrant out for it because of a massive unpaid fuel bill. More than $5 million was owed by them. So what did the captain do? He turned around and charted a course for another port that he hoped and prayed did not also have an arrest warrant out for his arrest. That's the state of the cruise industry. Because of all those problems, we now call the cruise industry another member of the financial walking dead. But you know what? We're not going to call them the financial walking dead. We're going to call them the financial floating dead instead. Not that all of that was the fault of the cruise industry. The industry was doing really well before this 2-year medical problem came along. Now, many of the cruise lines are dead or dying. They just don't want to admit it publicly. A lot of these CEOs still need to sell off their stock or collect their last bonus before they too get arrested. Do you know what other industry is a member of the walking dead? The banking industry. They've shut down almost 3,000 bank branches in 2021, and that number continues to grow. Many of these morons believe that getting rid of tellers and forcing customers to do all their business on their phones or at ATMs will be the answer to their problems. It will not. Their problems aren't caused by paying too many tellers the minimum wage. Their problems all stem from the fact that the new digital payment systems online are much faster and cheaper and safer and more efficient than the banks have ever provided. And there's a new problem for banks called cryptocurrency. Many people believe that cryptos are far safer, quicker, and cheaper than banks. Why is that? Because the money you keep in your bank account is being eroded every day by inflation. It's losing value to inflation. That's why your money buys less and less every day when you go shopping. But you know what? When it comes to crypto, it's not affected by inflation. So, what does the future hold for all of these financially walking dead executives, companies, and industries? They will take their bonuses and move down to Florida and spend the last few years of their lives sitting in a recliner chair and watching TV for 12 hours a day and changing their adult diapers as often as possible. Maybe that's the karma they have, or that's the karma they deserve. Who knows? What about the companies and industries that are financially walking dead? Most of the dead ones will never come back. America doesn't need a restaurant and a shopping mall on every street corner. Things will probably reset at a lower level with less of everything. The real question becomes, will all the insane inflation-driven prices ever go back down to normal again? We suspect that they will once the market and the economy collapses. How many people out there can afford $8 for a gallon of gas or $10 for a gallon of milk? Not many. And it's going to get worse. Let's hope that we one day see our return to sanity. Thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up, so make sure to click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. Also, we ask that you post a link to today's show on all your social media to spread the word. Thank you, and we shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye.